So hello friends, our today's question is question number 1137, which is nth Tribonacci number. So what is nth Tribonacci number? You have seen that we have calculated the Fibonacci number, but this is nth Tribonacci number. I think this is his brother only. Now let's see how his brother look like. So the Tribonacci sequence T of Tn is defined as follows. So in Fibonacci we know that we have been given that we have first two elements which were 0 and 1. Now we have been given here three elements, which is t0 is 0, t1 is 1 and t2 is 1. 9 tn plus we have been given here is general formula. So what is the general formula? Tn plus 3 will be tn plus 1 plus tn plus 2 for n is greater than equals to 0. So what this line saying is, let's see, given n return the value of tn. So now let's read the example. So we are given n equals to 4. So we need to find at t3 here. So t3 will be 0 plus 1 plus 1 because we know t0, t1, t2. So we'll find that easily. Now we need to find t4. So if we need to find t4, it will be 1 plus 1 plus 2, which will be 4. Now for n25, this process will continue until at t25 is found. So I will not explain that because it will take much time. Now let's see what we need to do here. So we know that these questions are done by recursion easily. So I will use first two base cases here. What will be the two base cases? So first base case will be if n is equals to 0, we will return 0 because we know that t of 0 is 0. So we will return easily 0 for n equals to 0. Now the second base case will be t of 1 and t of 2 are 1. So we will find both in one condition only. If n equals to 1 or n equals to 2, we will return 1 here. Now these two base cases are done. So what we will do is we need to find this term. So I will write this first. So we have here tn plus 3 as tn plus tn plus 1 plus tn plus 2. So what is this is the general formula to find any Tribonacci number, another Tribonacci number. So what will I do? So first I will initialize three variables. So int t0 will be 0, again t1 will be 1, and t2 will be 1. Because we know that the first three elements are fixed, so we don't need to calculate those first three elements. Now we need to I will initialize fourth variable, which will be t3, and I will not assign anything to it. Now I will run a for loop, and it will not start from 0 or 1. It will generally start from 3 because we know that the first three elements are known. So we need to find the fourth element. So it will start from 3 and will run up to m, and we will increment it. After incrementing, we will check that what we will do. We need to find the t3. So to find t3, what will I do? First I will do t3 will be t0 plus t1 plus t2. So what this line is saying us to is, so t3 here is we know that the nth Tribonacci number is the sum of its previous three elements. So t3 will be t0 plus t1 plus t2, and by this line t3 will be found. So after t3 is found, we need to swap these elements. How we will swap this? Because this loop is for general, not only for t3 or t4. When this basically loop is for all the elements and all the Tribonacci number we need to find. So this is not for t3 or t4 or t5. This is for all the elements if we need to find in this question as per the input. So what will I do here? So we have here three numbers t0, t1 and t2. So how we will calculate t4 after t3 is found? So we know that we have t3 We have T3, and T3 is what? T3's value is 2. We know that. We know that variable T, the value of T3 is 2. Now we need to find T4. So how we will find T4? So to find T4, we need to swap this. First, we need to know that what is T4. So T4 will be equal to, T4 is what? We will put we if we have general formula, so to find T4 we will put n equals to 1. So we will have T1 plus T2 plus T3. So we will have T3 plus T2 plus T1. So for this T4 we need to have T3 plus T2 plus T1. So we need to have that perfectly. Now for T3 T2 T1, how in this we know that T4 is T3 plus T2 plus T1, but how we will execute that? So to execute that, I need to swap these numbers. So as you can see here, we have for T3 we had T2 plus T1 plus T0. So which numbers are swapped here? And analyze this perfectly. So as you can see, T1 T0 is swapped with T1, T1 is swapped with T2, and T2 is swapped with T3. As you can see perfectly. So I will do one thing, that I will swap T0 with T1, T1 with T2, and T2 with T3. So what it will do? So T0 will be initialized to T1, T1 will be initialized to T2, and T2 will be initialized to T3. This is basically a swapping concept because we need to check for every number. So let's say we need to find T5. Let's say we need to find T5. So to find T5, we know that we need to have T4 value, T3 value, and T2 value. So we need to have these three values. So in this, now let me write this. Let me erase this first. Now keep it. So T0 will be T1, T1 will be T2, and T2 at last will be T3. So these three lines are important here. What these three lines are doing, let's see. So if we need to find T5, we need to have T4, T3, and T2. So let's put in this formula. So we have T3 here. After T3 is found, so T4 will be, after swapping, so T4 will be T1. As you can see here is T0, so T0 is swapped with T1. Now T1 is swapped with T2, so it will be T2 here, and T2 here is swapped with T3, so it will be T3 here. So T4 is found also successfully. Now we need to find T5. So to find T5, we have T1 here, T1 here is swapped with T2, we have T2 here, so T2 is swapped with T3, and T3 is swapped with nothing. Okay, so T3 is swapped with T4, so it will continue, and we have this T5 also. So this was the main logic of this question. Now let's do code. So we need to first put two base cases. If n equals to 0, we will return 0. Now if n is 1 or n is 2, we will return 1. Now after doing this, I will initialize three variables. T0 is 0, T1 is 1, T2 is 3, T2 is 1, and the T3 will be initialized but not assigning it. Now for loop will run from I equals to 3 up to n, incrementing it. Now we need to calculate T3, which will be T0 plus T1 plus T2. Now swapping method will do. Now T0 will be swapped to T1, T1 will be swapped to T2, and T2 will be swapped to T3. Now after this, the last line is important. Why last line is important? Because we need to return the answer of n. If n is given 4, so we need to return T4. If n is given 5, so we need to return T5. So here T2 is initializing to T3, and here T3 is calculated above. But the swapping, what swapping is doing is, so at last T2 is initializing to T3. So whatever the T3 will be found here, it will be initialized to T2. So we will not return T3, we will return T2. This one line is very important. Many people make basically mistakes in this. So keep in mind that we need to return T2. Why T2? Because at last T2 is assigning to T3, not T3 is assigning to T2. After calculating the result, T2 is initializing to that particular variable which is to be found. So we will return T2, not T3. Now let's run this question. As you can see here, all the test cases are passed perfectly. Now let's submit it and check the results. So all the test cases are passed and it is accepted. Our runtime is 0 millisecond and bits are 100%. Memory used here is 7.85 MB and bits are 65.5%. So this was the solution of this question by recursion, and main very concept